Hey, what's going on, everyone? Lauren Sisler here. Welcome into your Week 8 SEC Insider, brought to you by All South Appliance. And today I'm hanging out here in the beautiful showroom in this pretty cool little kitchen over here. A lot of cool appliances and, a great place to come. You got some early Christmas shopping you want to get done? Come here, get your upgrade. They've got you covered. Joining me now to talk Alabama football and basketball. Can you believe it? I'm going to talk a little basketball. Michael Casagrande, everyone. What's going on, buddy? How are you? Did you enjoy the bye week?
It was a very fine bye week. No football to cover, football to watch, but it was a relaxing time. We appreciated that. So nice time off.
What did you do? Did you do anything fun? Did you just sit on the couch and watch football and not watch Alabama football?
Pretty much. You described you just needed to unwind a little bit. It's been a lot. One thing after another, just nice to kind of chill.
Yeah, it's been a unique season. We talked about it before we got on the feed. Kind of in this pandemic season, things are a lot different. And obviously, we saw that this weekend in one of the marquee matchups in Clemson and Notre Dame. Trevor Lawrence not available for that game, and whether or not the game would have gone in favor of Clemson if their star quarterback would have been available, who knows? But he was not available due to his positive diagnosis of COVID-19. Obviously, he still, I guess, was out there on the field, but unfortunately was not able to play. I think he still had to go through some of the testing and some of the final phases of kind of phasing back into getting back on the field. So with that being said, Clemson goes down. Notre Dame is now number 2 of the rankings, and that makes Alabama number 1. So is this an epic illustration of rat poison, in your opinion?
Yeah, it's always funny to hear kind of how Alabama fans will be upset. They don't want to be number 1. They'd rather be number 2. They'd rather come from behind and upset upset a Clemson or whoever else is number 1. So I mean, it's for the end of the day, it's just something for people to talk about. And neither team is any different than they were a week ago. Alabama's not a different team before they were ranked number 1 when they were ranked number 2. It's just for conversation. It's for moments like this, so people like me and you can talk about it. But at the end of the day, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't affect their playoff standing, their playoff ability. It's just a number. It's fun for talk. It's fun for conversation. But they still have to go out and win every game. It's have to win the games they have to play, and everything is still ahead of them. Whether they were number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, doesn't matter.
Let me ask you a question, Michael. Were you by chance the one that instigated the rat poison comment from Nick Saban? Was that you that did that?
It was my question, yes. It was my turn, I guess, to get yelled at by Nick Saban that day. So
remind those of watching how that all came about. So, people are well aware now, I guess, of the rat poison comment, but give us a little backstory on it.
Yeah, it was after, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago at Texas A&M. Asked Saban a question. It was a game that they won, but it was an ugly win. They didn't play as well as they had expected, and I asked him about a couple of third downs that they didn't convert, and he said it was the perfect segue for him to answer the question the way he wanted, someone to ask a question like I asked it, and so he could jump down our throat and suggested why would he be so upset about that? It's because we have such high expectations. We set such high expectations for this team that it's impossible for them to ever live up to what the media puts on them. So. We're just like poison, and we're just like rat poison to them. So, and he had just delivered that same speech to the team. So it was just reinforcing what he had already said. So yeah. And the thing is, I don't even have a vote in the AP poll, so I didn't feed them anything this time. I'm staying out of it. I don't get involved in the AP voting.
I'm out. All right. So Alabama LSU this week looks quite a bit different than it did a year ago. The defending national champion LSU team. Alabama opening as a 22-point favorite to start the week. They're on the road in Baton Rouge. LSU now 2-3, coming off a loss to Auburn last week. They get a bye week. And what's interesting about this matchup, Miles Brennan was, according to Ed O, that he would likely be available for the Alabama game, but it's looking more doubtful that he'll be available this week against Alabama. Is that what I'm hearing?
That was the last thing we heard from Baton Rouge a week, sometime last week. Yeah.
So just your overall thoughts on this matchup, obviously looking quite a bit different, but if there's something that you could kind of point out that Alabama has to be prepared for? What's a key matchup you're looking at, and what will make this LSU team challenging for this Alabama team? Because I know obviously Alabama has been dominant, pretty much throughout the entire season. But there's Nick Saban will tell you there's always things to work on. But what does the LSU pose? What kind of challenges or threats do you think LSU poses going into this one?
It's tough because they're a shadow of the team they were a year ago, whether it be from so many guys graduating, other guys going pro, coaches going other places. You have Jamar Chase, who was the Blitnikoff, the best receiver in the country a year ago. He opted out, prepare for the NFL draft. So it's a team that you're going to watch on Saturday and hear a lot of names you haven't heard before. Just about everybody. I mean, top to bottom, it's a tough break for LSU for what they were last year and how dominant they were and how great that offense was. I guess they've had their moments on offense. They've got some true freshman quarterbacks playing, but it's not at all the team that you saw a year ago. Defensively, it's been a rough year for them defensively. Obviously, the first week of the season, come out and get boat raced by a Mississippi State team that hasn't done anything at all since, been shut out offensively twice. It's even more shocking. It might be one of the more shocking results when you look back at the season. It's pretty shocking in the moment to see them lose 44-34. To give up 44 points to Mississippi State team, but I don't know if they've scored 44 points in all the games combined since then. Obviously didn't score a point. Really only came close once to scoring against Alabama. So it's just a different team. I mean, maybe the challenge is the unknown of maybe some of these younger quarterbacks who don't have a lot of tape out there that they, but it's not, there's not much, there's not many things pointing towards LSU. I mean, even the fact, they got them at home. It's always they've always wanted to get them at home when they're doing well. Obviously, they beat Alabama on the road last year, and they beat them on the road in 2011, the last time they beat Alabama. But they haven't, to get them at home in a season when there's going to be 19, 20,000 people in Tiger Stadium, and night game, evening game, it's not going to even have that same kind of intimidating atmosphere that it was 2 years ago, 4 years ago, when it was some of the loudest I've ever heard a football stadium. So there's not a whole lot that's pointing in LSU's favor this weekend. Just kind of the circumstances, the timing, everything. It's not their year.
All right, so Alabama at LSU kicking off at 5 o'clock Central Time on CBS. Will you be going to Death Valley to Baton Rouge for that one, Michael? Did you get tapped for that one?
Yep, it's I picked that straw. I drew that straw. I'm heading down. It's my favorite place to go.
You're thrilled.
It's my favorite place to go. It's my favorite football stadium. Favorite atmosphere. It's not going to be obviously a shadow of what it normally is, but it's just a fun place, a fun energy. I enjoy going down.
All right, so let's switch gears real quick before we let you go. Talk a little Tide basketball, year 2 for Nate Oates. Obviously a big name. You talk about John Petty returning for the Tide. Big win for them. He comes back. He makes that offense churn. But Nate Oates has addressed the media now a couple times, and one thing that he has reiterated, he wants to see more defense this year. He said he wants to establish that blue collar identity early for this basketball team. Just wanted to get your overall thoughts on what this Tide basketball team brings to the table as we are nearing the start of the college basketball season here in 2020.
Yeah, as we were just talking about right before we went live, that the AP poll preseason came out, and they're just outside that top 25. But I think this is a team that there's more molded in Nate Oates and his vision for how he wants a team to look. It's going to be a lot more. It's going to be a lot more depth. They're going to be able to do the things that they want to do. I mean, it's the kind of team that they want to put pressure on people. They want to speed it up. They want to shoot quickly, move quickly. Not necessarily the Loyola Marymount's of the late 80s, early 90s, not the Troys of those times when they were trying to score 200 points a game. But they want to move quickly. They want to score fast, and they want to make things difficult for a team. And when your bench is short, you don't have the conditioning. You can only condition yourself so well to play at that pace when you don't have a deep bench. So I think they have obviously a lot more depth. It's a lot of guys that he has recruited. He's, the majority of that team is now players that he has personally recruited and guys that fit his scheme. So I think it's a kind of team where they could have a pretty wide, range of possibilities. I think that was the case last year, but I think they could have games where they could look as good as anybody out there, and they could have games where they could suffer. It's, when the shooting is off, when they can't, they can get all the opportunities, but if they're not making the shots, that's the kind of thing they either want layups or 3-pointers. And when the 3-point game, they lived and died obviously by that several times a year ago. So, but they've got some good shooters, some guys who can spin it. So I think it's a team it's going to be a fun team to watch. I think you could see last year was a fun team, entertaining style of basketball to watch. So I think it'll be interesting to see, what they can do with a team that he's, the majority of which he has recruited.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And the regular season tipping off Wednesday, November 25th. So just a few short weeks away from the college basketball season. So certainly looking forward to that. And we appreciate your insight as always, Michael. Always great to chat with you. Always great to talk with you. Enjoy that trip to Baton Rouge. I know you'll have a good time. And I want to say a big thank you to our sponsors, All South Appliance, proud sponsor of SEC Insider, inviting you to visit us online at myallsouth.com. And hey, check it out. Buy a grill, get a gift. Pretty cool stuff there. So, hey, the holidays are right around the corner. Might not be a bad time to invest in it, do some grilling as we turn the page to 2021. And again, we appreciate our sponsors. Thank you so much. And we will check in with you later on.